Now let's begin. And in our first story, it's about a community sharing borders with at least 6 Burkinabe communities. Though it is part of the Upper East region of Ghana, one only needs to travel about half a kilometer outside the market of Fio in the Bongo district to get into some of the first Burkinabe communities. Despite this, there's no official border post in the area, a situation the chief of Bongo Fio says makes it easy for smuggling of goods, theft, and possible terror attacks in the wake of attacks on Burkinabes. Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori has this report as part of a series on porous borders.
The Upper East region is located in the northeastern corner of Ghana and is the second smallest of the 16 administrative regions. The region is occupying a total land surface of about 8,842 square kilometers, or 2.7% of the total land area of Ghana. It is bordered by Burkina Faso to the north, Togo to the east, the Upper West region to the west, and the northern region to the south. Some of Ghana's official border posts in the Upper East region are located at Paga, Kulungugu, and Polmakum. At these borders, persons coming into the country are screened thoroughly by immigration and custom officials before they are allowed entry. However, exactly same cannot be said of Fio in the Bongo district.
But where we are here, you see, this is Jelwongo, just where I'm talking. For you can just cross here. In Jelwongo, you can just cross here.
Often called Bongo Fio, this community is neighbor to at least 6 Burkinabe communities, some of which are less than a kilometer away, according to the chief, Naba Ayenaba Azare.
If I just show my left here is Jelwongo. I go here, you go to ZC and you enter Ziu. You go up there, there is a place called Nargia. There's a place there you can enter Ziu. Jelwongo is Burkina. ZC, Ziu is Burkina. Nargia, Ziu is Burkina. Yelbia, Yelbisi is Burkina. Subga, that's Subga.
Despite this, there is no official border post in the area.
So there have been several times of stealing from Burkina Faso, and we have intercepted them. Terrorism, it can happen. When stealing can happen, why in the night or as the borders are porous and there's no any security man nearby or not permanent. There's a lot of smuggling which is passing here, outside the country and into the country. We have been seeing it. Yeah, I've seen it several times. The truck will come at an odd hour and pass.
There are immigration and customs checkpoints with assigned officers in the area, but the chief believes this is not enough.
They are far away. They are just here during daytime, but in the night you don't see them. And you know how terrorists come in? They pass through the porous roads. If not, they pass through the bush. And here we have the bush where they can pass through. So this is what we have seen, that there's a need to have a border post here, and we will work hand in hand.
This place here is one of the end points of the Fio market. It is only about half a kilometer away from one of the closest Burkina Faso communities. Desmond Atambiri is the assemblyman for the Fio electoral area.
Currently where we are standing is an exit point to Yeluongo, which is in Burkina Faso. When you take this route, you are going to Burkina Faso, which is a half kilometer from the Fio town. So this one is a free entry point for people of Burkina and then Fio you have people taking advantage of this porous nature of the road to smuggle a lot of, especially the area of this planting for food and jobs. The people use this as a transit point for them to smuggle fertilizer out of the town.
He says members of this community were in a state of panic when news broke not too long ago of a terror attack in Burkina Faso.
Day in and day out, because Faso is not far from Burkina, we hear a lot of attacks not far from the border. So when we hear that, we were alarmed, and we were always alert, even in our churches. When we see visitors in our church, we were always intrigued about their presence. So in fact, when the issue was there, people were talking about it. In fact, the people of Faso were not at ease at all. We were always on tenterhooks, and
the people of Bongo Fio believe a well-established border post in the area will not only protect citizens, it will also help generate a lot of revenue for the country.
Now, there is already immigration presence. The only thing is that it's challenging because they are few. And from what the chief tells us, these immigration officials don't reside in the community. So at night, people go in and come out. And so it's easy for criminal activity to take place without the culprits being easily identified. My name is Albert Sorry for Joy News.
And in the Ashanti region, private medical and dental practitioners are drawing attention to what they say is a struggling emergency medical service 15 years after its establishment. The president of the Society of Medical and Dental Practitioners of Ghana blames the situation on the lack of political will to pass a national ambulance service law. Dr. Isaac Morrison says a legal framework would help fill a major gap in Ghana's healthcare system. His speech was contained in a communique issued at the 41st Annual General Meeting that took place in Kumasi.
The May 9 stadium disaster in Accra prompted the then President John Agyekum Kufuor to set up the National Ambulance Service in 2004. It was tasked to provide timely and comprehensive pre-hospital care to persons in road traffic, domestic, industrial accidents and other emergencies. However, a 2014 survey showed 19% of the country remained uncovered by the service. As of June 2018, about 29 million Ghanaians shared 55 operational ambulances. Dr. Morrison believes increasing training of personnel, including the private sector, is crucial for effective implementation of the service. He spoke at the Society's conference under the theme, Medical Services in Ghana, History, Current Situation and Challenges.
The National Ambulance Service Bill should be urgently passed to ensure the sustainability of the emergency medical services and the use of properly fitted and equipped ambulances. 2, government should support an increase in the training of the different cadres of personnel necessary for the effective implementation of emergency medical service, and that training support should also be extended to the private sector. 3, there must be an equitable geographical distribution of skilled emergency care providers and healthcare facilities staffed and equipped to handle critically ill patients when handed over by the emergency medical team nationwide. 4, the broken down fleet of ambulances should be put in serviceable conditions, while attempt is made at procuring new ones to augment the fleet in the country. 5, adequate budgetary allocations should be made in the implementation of a well-organized and resilient emergency medical service to be able to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030.
President of Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Ankobia, urged government to find money to pay private facilities which cater for accident victims.
Private practitioners play a critical role in the provision of emergency medical services, but are often neglected in the resource allocation from the central government in this regard. May I use this forum to call on government to explore financially sustainable means of reimbursing all health care facilities for care provided for accident victims during the first 24 to 48 hours.
Negative perception about ambulances as meant for the dead. High cost of fuel and service charges account for low patronage. Ghana Association of Quasi-Government Health Institutions believes addressing such challenges will improve services. Reporter for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
Moving on, health outreach by a visiting U.S. medical team conducting free cataract surgery has revealed high prevalence of the condition in Ashanti and Bono East regions. Over 500 people, most of whom could not afford the cost of treatment, are taking advantage of the exercise to undergo treatment at the SDA hospitals at Asaimang and Techimang. Teria of our health desk has more in the following report.
The U.S. team of experts from Loma Linda is in Ghana through the collaboration of two American organizations and the Adventist Health Services. They are United Service to Africa and Anakans Community Center. Nearly 300 people have already received attention, including surgery and supply of spectacles. Ghanaian-born leader of the team, Dr. Kwame Ajimai, is president of United Service to Africa.
Some of us, we have suffered personal tragedies that we feel like probably our people or whoever, our family members probably have survived or something if they had resources when it comes to medical care. So it kind of gave us that courage. So far, when it comes to the cataract surgeries, for 2 days, we have had a few hiccups, but then we'll be able to do almost over 190 cases. Our hope is to get to 450, 500 cases at the end of Friday. I will come back to that, but when it comes to that, we need more people. So far, I think we have registered 300 patients that are already scheduled or booked for surgery.
A survey conducted in 2005 by the Ghana Eye Foundation paints a gloomy picture of 800,000 Ghanaians being visually impaired. Out of this, 200,000 are said to be completely blind for various causes, 75% or more of which are avoidable. Cataract alone accounts for 56% of blindness in Ghana. For lack of funds, many patients are unable to afford treatment, resulting in total blindness.
I brought my father here for treatment. We heard the announcement on free eye surgery at Asaimang SDA hospital. He has received the needed surgical care without paying anything. This is the first time we have sent him to the hospital because we don't have money to afford treatment.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Vipul Prajapati describes the situation as worrisome, and he wants government to pay special attention by supporting patients, mostly poor.
If we are not going to operate such kind of the bilateral cases, and they may go permanently blind because they may convert it into the complicated cataracts, and then after they may develop the glaucoma, and they may lose the sight for permanently. So that's why if it is diagnosed early in the stage, and if we operate early in the stage, then it will be a benefit to our patients, as well as at least they can have a useful vision.
From Kumasi for JoyNews, Teria reporting.
Back here in Accra, Samuel Nkrumah, daughter of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, has described as misplaced priority the practice of renaming public institutions in Ghana after former politicians. According to the former legislator, politicians should rather focus on addressing pertinent challenges facing the citizenry. Her comments come on the back of the recent spate of renaming of institutions, including the University of Development Studies as Simon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies.
No, I want us to solve our problems before we think of anything else. There are urgent problems to be solved, I believe. The people of Ghana have been struggling, not just under this government, under the previous government, and for quite a few decades now. The average Ghanaian is struggling, and the average Ghanaian needs attention. Every politician comes with their priorities. I've told you what my priorities are. My priority is the well-being of the people of Ghana. Once that is addressed, we can sit and talk about so many other things. But unless that is addressed adequately, I think everything should be shelved for another day. If I were in government, I wouldn't rename institutions. I will make sure that I am addressing the urgent problems and needs of the people. And God knows there are plenty.
And before we go, do you know that noodles take about 13 hours to digest? Well, it does. Dietitians therefore advise that it should be taken several hours before bedtime so as to avoid especially cardiovascular diseases. Dietitian Frank Ayimedu has been speaking to JoyNews Nane Fuapoli about the risks associated with a meal that becomes very convenient for most Ghanaians, especially before bedtime.
Noodles have become a part of the Ghanaian cuisine. Caterers have developed recipes that are relished by many, especially in the evenings. Boil some noodles, strain the water, add vegetables, some spice, and throw in some protein, and you're good to go.
The maximum amount of sale I make in a day is 200 Ghana cedis.
It's a fast and convenient food, especially for many people who've described it as a light food.
Taking it in the morning, sometimes you can take it in the morning, but when I take it in the morning, I become very heavy. I feel like sleeping. Noodles is a very fast making food. And sometimes when you are tired after work, you need to just take some few seconds to eat and go to bed, rather than sitting at home, start preparing more food. Looking at the cholesterol and other things involved in it, it's not that too safe.
But from a dietitian's point of view, noodles mixed with vegetables and protein is considered a full meal that takes about 13 hours to digest. Registered dietitian Frank Ayimedu classified it as fatty food.
Additionally, most of the people who prepare the noodles do it with a lot of protein sources. And we also recommend that you should get at least one source of protein in your meal. A typical example is if somebody is preparing a spaghetti or maybe a noodle, as we know, the person can prepare it with even baked beans, canned fishes. It could be sardine, as we usually know. And it could also come with sausages and others even with gizzard. So if you are counting the number of proteins in that noodle, you realize that the protein contents are high. And how it is prepared, it is stir fried. Others too involves deep frying. And once you fry or once you expose fats to extreme temperatures, even if your fat sources are good sources of fat, it becomes transformed, or the conformation of the fat changes to trans fats and saturated fat. So eventually you end up increasing your saturated fats and your trans fats. And that has a very direct impact on your cardiovascular conditions. You can even at a point in time have or experience what we call hypertension or maybe diabetes and other cardiovascular conditions. Realize that when you move around and you want to buy a noodle, it is prepared with a lot of baked beans. We don't recommend or we don't encourage intake of canned products. Now the reason is that most of the companies that come across or bring about the canned product tend to preserve the shelf life of what they are producing. They end up adding what we call the monosodium glutamate. It's a form of salt, and it has excessive sodium. And there are a lot of research findings that says that excessive consumption of sodium is a heart enemy, and the result is what we call the hypertension. So in as much as you have no genetic basis of or family history of hypertension, your diet and your lifestyle, if you keep on consuming a lot of noodles, a lot of the sodium that we are talking about, due to how it is prepared, the results could be hypertension or other metabolic conditions. We recommend that you take them with a lot of vegetables. You should select a single protein. If you are doing sausage, just do sausage alone. If you are doing big beans, I wouldn't recommend frequent intake of canned products. You could just cook beans and add it to it. And the time as well. You don't wait till 9 o'clock before you go and get your noodles from the street.
Some vendors say although they would rather add more vegetables to noodles, consumers prefer more eggs, sausages, canned fish, gizzard, and sometimes chicken, all in one meal.
I'm aware of the health implications, but some people wouldn't mind if you told them. They still go ahead to buy, regardless of the time, because they are craving for it.
This story has one simple takeaway. Dietitians are advising you to eat your noodles several hours before you go to bed. Also eat sizable portions and add more vegetables instead of protein. Nana Efwa Police report, read to you.
Yummy. Looks yummy, but the caution is always there. And we have other great conversations because noodles is also becoming part of the family meal. And talking about families, it would always involve marriages, etc. And today, we have a regular segment we started a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to continue from now. We call it Dear AM. Today, we have an interesting story, and it's coming through our email. And we decided to activate the promotion for you to know what email we're using for you to share your experiences on relationship, marriages, either the positives or the negatives through our email info@myjoyonline.com. And today we have one from somebody who we have named as Amma, who is giving us this great story from Kaswa. It's not the actual situational points where the story has been experienced, but we're using this alliance because we know we can indeed associate with people and we don't want any stigma. And Amma has a great story. We'll put that on your screens very soon. It's a story we're going to share with you. It's going to be the premise of our relationship discussion this morning on Dear AM. And I know you will enjoy it as well. Kojo Yankson is also with the British High Commissioner on the Ghana Grand Tour. And Ian Walker and the rest of his entourage, they are cycling across destinations, across a distance of 1,000 kilometers in our country, from north to south. They already started the journey over the last 2 days. We want to take a look at it today. They'll look at a lot of scenery and relate to many other issues. But they want to raise funds. And if you have enough to spare or you're attached, please make sure you donate to, if you're an MTN user, or you want to donate through the MTN mobile money platform on *700*9#, or with a Vodafone number 020-7566-351, or through the Standard Chartered account 0100-1040-6181. Very easy for you to do that. The Ghana Grand Tour cycling. Kojo Yankson, though, is with the team, and we'll see how he's able to cope with the long distance of cycling to get to the next destination, till we get to ride across the 1,000-kilometer stretch down south. And that will take us for a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at stories dominating the various dailies, front, back pages, and the center spreads of the newspapers. We'll also look at myjoyonline.com. Stay with us. We also have all these plus sports.